What's up, fam? I got a couple of disturbing things I want to talk about. They don't go together, but for one, what California is banning by 2036 is going to affect the economy there, and it'll affect the economy everywhere else across this country, especially if other states decide they want to pass the same law that California just passed 5 days ago. The second thing is what just happened to me in the Dollar Tree. And not say to me, but I was able to hear what happened. And I had to get out of that store with the quickness. Me and another customer. Let's talk about it. What's up, fam? Welcome back to Tommy's Carolina Homestead. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you hit that subscribe button, I really do appreciate it, because you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here with me today. So welcome to the new subscribers. Welcome back to the returning subscribers who I call cousins. Welcome to the family. If you haven't hit that notification and turned it on, go ahead and do that, because most heavy upload days will lead to me having about 2 or 3 videos a day, and I don't want you to miss a thing. So let's get into what is so disturbing about the things that I talked about earlier in the introduction. So the first thing is, I went into the Dollar Tree because I was looking for twine, because today is the day I'm going to put the starts that I grew from seed myself out, the ones that didn't die on me because I had to wait so long to put them out. So I needed twine to tie things up. So while I was finding the twine, before I found it, I was on a separate owl from the conversation that I overheard. And it was just a casual conversation. And by the time I got on the owl that they were on, where the twine was, it took a turn. One girl asked the other one, she was like, "Oh, so yeah, you believe in God?" And the girl's like, "No," or shook her head or something. And so when she did that, the one that asked her said, "Oh, well, you believe in higher being." And she was like, "Well, I don't know if I can say that either. I'm more of a witchcraft type of girl." And I turned to the elderly lady beside me, and at the same time, I said it first, I was like, "Well, it's time for me to leave." She was like, "Yeah, me too." And we got up out of there as fast as we could. Y'all, I don't play around with stuff like that. I really, really do not. So the second thing, and let me know in the comments what you think about that. The second thing is, what California is banning is going to affect everybody, because California, most people consider California their own country. They come up with their own thing. But then the rest of the states, they tend to follow it. And I pray that they don't, because this will affect a lot of people and could possibly affect my husband, because he drives big rig trucks. What am I talking about? So I'm using my husband's iPad, but California is banning the sale of new diesel trucks by 2036. And y'all feel free to get in the comments and let me know what you think about it, because personally, I don't think this is going to go well, because we don't have the infrastructure set up for driving long haul heavy loads on EV. We just don't have it. So some of the key points are: California regulators on Friday voted to ban the sale of new diesel big rigs by 2036 and require all trucks to be zero emissions by 2042. A decision that puts the state at the forefront of mitigating national tailpipe pollution. California Air Resources Board unanimously approved the Advanced Clean Fleets Rule, the state's second zero emissions truck rule, and first in the world to require new commercial trucks to be electric. The mandate is estimated to deliver $26.5 billion in public health benefits in California in avoided health impacts and deaths due to diesel pollution. This will most definitely affect their economy. There are going to be truckers and trucking companies, because the larger trucker companies are really going to be affected in having to try to replace their diesel trucks with the electric ones. Y'all, California is about to have some serious shortages happening there. So the article goes on to state that some of the country's major truck manufacturers and their lobbying groups have strongly opposed the regulations, arguing that requirements are costly as electric models are more expensive than diesel trucks. Large trucks are more expensive to convert to electric models than the smaller vehicles due to their size and their weight. The trucking industry has also stated that the deadlines are unrealistic given the lack of EV charging infrastructures and available space at ports. You know, they barely can find a space to park their trucks when it's time for them to do their reset, where they have to reset either for 24, 48, or 36 hours. Those truck stops are already full. I have yet to see any EV charging stations. You can barely find them for cars. So how are they going to get this money up to put these charging stations in? And I'm not just saying they have to put them in California, because trucks travel outside of California. So if they have an electric vehicle, they're forced to have electric trucks to even drive in California. What about when they have to go somewhere else to deliver loads? What happens then? How are they going to make money? They're going to lose money. So here is what the mandate says. The mandate would require companies that operate 50 or more trucks to convert their fleets into electric or hydrogen models and achieve zero emission by 2042. So where does that leave the owner-operators who may have just one truck or may have 10, because they're a small company and they do business in California? They still have to change their trucks over to EV. That's going to be costly. That is going to put a lot of small mom and pop trucking companies out of business. So the earliest deadline is for drayage trucks, which carry cargo to and from major ports, which must be converted to electric models by 2035, while new sales starting in 2024 must be zero emissions. Vehicles like garbage trucks and school buses must be zero emissions by 2027. Where are they getting this money from? Public schools barely have money to operate the old ones that they have, yet alone find funding or grants or whatever they have to do to switch them over to EV. And again, where are they going to charge all this stuff up at? Where are they going to put it? I can think of a reason and a way that they can help the emissions in the air. Since this is about green living, stop chopping down trees. They wouldn't have to worry about our breathing this diesel stuff in if they stop chopping down the trees. We need the trees. The trees provide us with fresh oxygen. So maybe cut back on that and the air will be a little bit more cleaner. No, they're not cutting back on that. So what I feared is further in this article and what I stated earlier. California has sought waivers from the Clean Air Act to set stricter standards than the federal government for heavy-duty vehicles. They're overstepping the government in some instances. The state's stricter tailpipe emissions rule will have broader effects beyond California, which has significant authority over the U.S. auto industry, and could pave the way for other states to follow through. Well, to follow suit. It says, for instance, New York, New Jersey, Washington, Oregon, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Colorado have already adopted the California's advanced clean truck rule. Y'all, they about to muck up the whole economy. Do you understand what that means? That means we better start preparing now to see more empty shelves. And yes, it all goes back to that, because we get these deliveries and loads through trains and trucks. And you see what's happening with the trains and all the derailments. Now the truckers being attacked with the AB5 and this whole Clean Air Act and restricting trucks and forcing them to switch their diesel over to zero emissions. This is ridiculous. I'm telling you, California is not a state. It is a country. They do what they want to do. And all the other states follow along with some of these silly rules that they come up with. So the state has committed to achieving 100% renewable energy by 2045. Last year, it banned the sale of new gasoline-powered cars starting in 2035. Today's mandates also come a day after the state adopted a historic rule to limit emissions from diesel-powered trains. Everything is under attack. It was just last year or the year before, I can't remember, but I did a story on it. It was about California not accepting pork or beef from farmers who did not have adequate space to raise those animals. They had to have a certain amount of space, almost like in childcare. You have to have a certain amount of square footage to determine how many children are in each of the rooms. I used to own a childcare center, but y'all, this is some serious stuff that's taking place, and I need to know what y'all think about it down in the comments. Because one, being the wife of a trucker, we've had this conversation plenty of times, and here's some of what we talked about. So for those of you who are new to the channel, and I do have a lot of new members, my husband used to be in the military. When he got out, then he worked in a hospital, which is where I met him. We were both working in a hospital. And then he was a firefighter, and now he is a truck driver. And when I tell you, he's gone to California one time over the 10 years plus that he's been driving. It's not for him. For one, he has an older truck. And when he went, it was hard enough to get stickers, because you have to have a certain sticker on your truck to go into certain states. So once he got that, it was just difficult to even get a load to get out of there. So that's another reason why he didn't want to go, because it cost him more money in the end just sitting around waiting to find the load to get out of there. Because no one wants to deadhead, which means you're driving and you don't have a location and you're using your own money, because he's an owner operator. So for those reasons alone, he's not going to go back there. Another reason is the fact we knew years ago that this was going to happen, because this didn't just happen overnight. This is a fight that's been going on for a while with turning things to EV. But no one's making the step forward to make sure the infrastructure is in place. Our power plants are not stable. They need to be redone. And now you want to add more to it. It's just not going to work efficiently. So many truck drivers have said they just won't go to California. They'll stop at the Nevada line, turn around, and let California fend for itself. And I'm just telling you now, I'm so heated. My thoughts are just all jumbled. But y'all, this is a reason why we have to prepare, because they're just messing up the little bit of recovery that we did get. It's been gone for a minute. Now they're going to make it worse, because they're attacking the truckers with forcing them to do something that is very costly, and 9 times out of 10, most of them won't be able to do it. They will be forced out of business if they're a small company. Even the bigger companies are going to struggle with it. But they're adding trains to it as well. You know that our deliveries that we get, our goods, our commodities, they're coming from air, from plane, from air, from trains, from trucks and ships. The system is under attack, and it's like they're not seeing the long game in this. They're just for the right now. The long game is they're putting the cart before the horse. You don't force people to change up their trucks and you don't have a system in place. They can only drive so many miles before having to recharge those vehicles. And what if they can't find a recharging station, or a charging station rather? Then what? They're stuck on the side of the road. They're paying more money to get towed to the nearest one. The loads are going to get to the stores later because you can only drive so far on EV if you don't have a charge at all. What if the weather is so cold that you can't charge that battery? So I'm going to get off my rant, but I want to see what you guys have to say about it. Let me know in the comments. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you understand that it's not too late to start stockpiling things. It's just not. You can't afford to not do that. You can't afford to not grow your own food. I'm about to go get in my garden now. Even though we still have cold weather, I'm just going to put stuff out and pray to God that it sticks. And if it doesn't, then I'll just go out and buy some starts and put them in the ground. But I have to grow. I have to stockpile. And I hope you do too. Again, if this video was helpful, useful to you, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. It still lets me know whether or not, it's not going to change me bringing the news to you on this channel. If you are new, it says Tommy Carolina Homestead. I'm raising rabbits. I'm raising chickens. I'm also growing my own food. I'm also stockpiling items that I need for my home. And I also do news you can use, because most times you're not going to get it on mainstream media. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Share it out with your family and your friends. I love you, but God loves you more. He created only one you. Be the best you that you can be. And when you are, go out and spread God's love. Peace, love, and light. Thanks for being here on Tommy's Carolina Homestead.
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on. I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I watch you as you sleep. You don't know I'm looking. With you everything's complete. Do you know how much I love you? I put your favorite song on just to wake you up. When I dance around, I can't help but feeling, I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that